All right, welcome back to the SSL Family Dad channel. Today we're going to be doing some repairs on our Chevy Suburban. And we have a 2010 Chevy Suburban here. We're going to be doing the wheel bearing. And during this process, we're also going to be replacing the rotors and the brakes and all that stuff, brake pads and everything, just because it's kind of easy just to do it all at once. But we have a wheel bearing that's bad on the driver's side front, which seems to be where they go bad on these Chevys. This process for the wheel bearing is going to be pretty much the same for all your Chevy trucks from probably 2000 and up, even maybe before that. So the Suburbans and your Sierras and your 1500s, GMCs and Chevys and all that good stuff. So a couple things that we're going to need to get this job done. Obviously the parts. So I ordered a Moog wheel bearing. I ordered it off Amazon. It's a little more expensive than there are some cheaper ones out there. I'll put a link in the description to a couple of the different parts that I looked at. Moog has a little bit longer warranty, and so I went with the better wheel bearing, hopefully. And so that's what I picked. I also ordered the brake pads and the rotors on Amazon. So to do this repair, I actually have a good friend of mine who is a mechanic stopping by to help me out. Because of the injury I had in my leg and other things, he offered to come and help, and I jumped on that because this is one of those repairs that is nice to have some good tools. There's a couple things that you're gonna need to get this job done, so that are kind of outside of your normal tool set. So this is a 35mm socket. It's a big one. I can't remember where I got this from. I may have even ordered this on Amazon too, but I think you can get it at any of the auto stores or tool stores, obviously. But you're gonna need this to get that big center nut off of the wheel there. Also, this is a T30 Torx bit. You're gonna need one of these. Now, in this repair, I didn't show taking this off because mine was actually missing the screw, but you're gonna see this Torx bit screw right on that rotor when you take the rotor off, and you need to take that out with the T30 Torx bit. The rest of the tools that you're gonna need are just some open-ended wrenches and sockets, 15mm, I think, 18, maybe 19mm, and a few other kind of common tools. And the other thing that you're gonna need is a sledgehammer, some type of a good hammer. The bigger the better, because sometimes these wheel bearings and all that stuff can be really rusted on there, and they're kind of a pain to get off. So you're gonna have to do some beating. It doesn't hurt to have a torch available also. Sometimes heating things up can help, but if you don't have that, again, you know, maybe some WD-40 and beating on it for a while will get this loose. Now today we are using some impact wrenches, and man, do they make this job easier. But if you don't have impact wrenches and all that good stuff, it's not a big deal. You can get by with your socket wrenches. Sometimes you might need to add a pipe to it and get a little bit extra leverage on some things. So let's dig in, get this truck fixed.
Rotors are still pretty good. We're going to need to pull the caliper bracket here. It's here in there.
All right. That was it?
That was it.
So that's just the top and the bottom nut for the caliper that we're taking off right now?
Yes, we're taking we're taking the whole bracket and everything. Though, if you were just doing brake pads, you wouldn't have to take it off here.
Right.
You could take it off here
and then just slide it out.
and slide it off. If you're pulling, you know, the wheel bearing, you have to pull the rotor. So if you're pulling the rotor, you got to pull the bracket with the caliper, and it's kind of stuck. So they get a little ridge, and so the brakes will hang. I generally don't like to hang those on the hose if I can help it. So.
Yeah. Save this for a future project, right?
Yeah, here on the back side, there's a nut on that stud.
Okay.
And it's,
There's 3 of them.
Yep, 3 on this particular one. A lot of them have 4, but it's still the same, kind of the same difference. But I got an adapter here.
Oh, okay.
It's actually adapts down to 3/8, and then I have a universal,
and then
a socket. Because the smaller socket goes on better.
All right.
Like a 1/2-inch drive socket may be too big
to
actually fit, so you gotta like avoid breaking these little adapters.
Oh, okay.
What you do is get one of your old crummy wrenches, and then you can get it without overtaxing your. That's good. It's easy to get confused when you're going backwards. You end up tightening it, and nothing much happens. It's just a little plastic bar.
Oh, I gotcha.
So we can squeeze that and it'll come out.
And then the new ones, the new one has what it needs to just pop right back in there, so we can take all that off. It looks like maybe all the way up to there. Just stuck together, I'm sure.
See how that little thing looks like needs to come up, and then it should.
It really is.
It also, there we go. Hey,
Cool.
Warning, you hear it go?
We got a warning. That's
Your
good.
ABS light just came on. Well, let's see, just for the heck of it, if we make any progress. Like I said, this is getting changed, so don't beat on it. As long as this is free, which it is. That's a nice little bonus when those aren't stuck.
Okay.
Like the splines.
Yep.
So we got this. This is a nice little trick. Then you thread one of the bolts back in a little ways.
Use the power steering hydraulic.
Yeah, and then you put a socket extension that'll reach over and bottom out. And you turn and you hold force while you hit it.
So just threading a bolt back in here, and that is attached to the actual bearing housing there. So we're going to try to use the force of this power steering to force it out with the extensions from here all the way across. Once we get the right force on it, we can turn this wheel and it'll force that off.
Like a pushing force working in conjunction with a shock is really, really, it's amazing what you can do with it.
Yeah, you got pressure on it.
Yeah, keep going with it, just keep putting pressure.
Alright, so we're going to heat up, or what's the idea, to actually heat this up?
No, we're going to heat it here.
Heat
Because
it
what's stuck is, if you see on the new one here, see how it has this pilot surface here?
Yep.
Every bit of that is rusted into this bore, so all that.
Okay.
So if we heat up this outside part, then it'll expand, and plus it helps melt the rust.
Okay.
And then it just breaks everything loose, and it's really...
Is there any wires or anything in there that we need to worry about? I guess we don't. Cause
no, we took the ABS wire out, and this, wow, this is junk. It doesn't matter.
We're going to get rid of that anyway. So.
Yeah. If you were wanting to reuse this hub, then you wouldn't want to do this.
Right.
Because this destroys the hub.
Sometimes it just requires a bigger hammer. Right?
Bigger hammer.
Well, I'm glad Loctite hooked me up.
There you go. That. That's how we go. Guess I didn't click off. And you plug it. A hole and a hole, and push it in, and it's perfect.
Alright, so I'm not going to focus on doing the brake job in this video. I've done that in other videos, so we'll just go ahead and do this. So we've also got a couple grease zerts here. There's one on the top, one directly below it on the bottom, and then one on the tire end here.
100's usually pretty safe.
So there you have it. It's not too bad of a process to get that wheel bearing changed out. If you're looking to do this on your own, definitely a doable repair. You're going to save yourself a lot of money, because this is one of those things that they charge a little bit of labor on these at the auto places. So if you can get it done yourself, definitely worthwhile. And out here on the farm, we try to do everything ourselves, and especially repairs like this. And it's good to have a friend that's a mechanic that has some good tools. I think I'm going to have to look into getting one of them impact wrenches though, maybe a battery one or a pneumatic one. I might do some looking around and do a tool video on that later, because that's something I have wanted for a long time, and it made this job so much easier. And from what I hear, they're not too expensive, so we'll check those out later. But as always, don't forget to hit thumbs up and save the video to a playlist. If you are doing this repair later on, you want to reference it and use it. Hopefully it was useful to you guys that are looking to do this repair. Save a lot of money by doing this stuff yourself, so hopefully it helps you out. Of course, subscribe if you want to follow along. Lots of DIY stuff around here. We try to do everything ourselves as much as possible, and sometimes with the help of a good friend. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.